Welcome, science friends. Let's talk about something incredibly important: making medicine. The pharmaceutical industry is a world of amazing science and precision engineering. Think about it. Tiny molecules are carefully assembled into pills, injections, and creams that can fight diseases, ease pain, and even save lives. It's a process that demands the highest levels of quality and safety because people's health depends on it. Every single step, from mixing raw materials to sealing the final package, must be perfect. Even a small mistake can have big consequences, which is why we need to be excellent problem solvers. It's not just about business, it's about our collective well-being. Now, imagine you're working in one of these state-of-the-art facilities. Everything is running smoothly, but then, bam, an alarm goes off. A batch of tablets doesn't have the right hardness, or a liquid solution appears cloudy when it should be clear. What do? You can't just throw the batch away and hope it doesn't happen again. That would be wasteful, and more importantly, it wouldn't fix the underlying issue. This is where problem solving becomes the superhero of the pharmaceutical world. It's the structured, scientific way we investigate what went wrong, figure out the deep down reason, and make sure it never ever happens again. It's a fundamental part of the job. This isn't just about following rules, though rules are very important. It's about having a mindset of continuous improvement. The world of medicine is always advancing, and so are the methods we use to make it. By constantly looking for the root causes of even minor issues, we can refine our processes, make them more efficient, and build even more robust systems for quality control. Every problem, no matter how small, is an opportunity to learn and get better. It's like being a detective, a scientist, and an engineer all rolled into one. You're on a mission to uncover the truth to protect public health. So, when we talk about problem solving in pharma, we're talking about a core responsibility. It's a commitment to excellence that is built into the very fabric of the industry. From the person operating a machine on the factory floor to the quality assurance specialist signing off on a final product, everyone plays a role in this vital process. It ensures that the medicine you or your family might take is not only effective, but above all, safe. And that, my friends, is a mission worth getting excited about. Let's dive into how we make that happen with some cool science-based tools. All right, let's get to the root of it. Pun intended. When a problem pops up, our first reaction is often to fix the immediate visible part of it. If you have a leaky faucet, you might put a bucket under it. Problem solved, right? Well, not really. The bucket is just dealing with a symptom, the dripping water. The faucet is still leaking. The real problem, the root cause, might be a worn-out washer inside the tap. Until you replace that washer, you're going to need a lot of buckets. This idea is the heart of something we call root cause analysis, or RCA. In the world of pharmaceutical manufacturing, we can't just use buckets. We have to find that worn-out washer every single time. Root cause analysis is a systematic method for digging past the obvious symptoms to find the fundamental reason a problem occurred. It's the difference between saying, the machine stopped, and understanding that the machine stopped because a specific bearing wasn't lubricated according to the new maintenance schedule, causing it to overheat and seize. See the difference? One is a surface-level observation. The other is a deep, actionable insight that can prevent future shutdowns. Why does this matter so much? Because in pharma, a recurring problem can be disastrous. If a batch of medicine is contaminated, you don't just want to know that it was contaminated. You need to know why. Was it a faulty air filter, an operator error, a contaminated raw material from a supplier? If you don't find the true origin, you're leaving the door open for it to happen again, potentially putting patients at risk. RCA is our best defense against that. It forces us to ask tough questions and keep digging until we have a solid evidence-based explanation. Think of it like being a doctor for the manufacturing process. A patient comes in with a fever. The fever is the symptom. A good doctor doesn't just give them medicine to lower the fever and send them home. They run tests to find the root cause. Is it a bacterial infection? A virus? An inflammation? The treatment depends entirely on the correct diagnosis. Root cause analysis is how we diagnose problems in our production lines, ensuring we apply the right cure to make the whole system healthier and more reliable for the long term. So, how do we perform this amazing root cause analysis? Do we need a supercomputer or a fancy laboratory? Sometimes, but often, one of the most powerful tools is also one of the simplest. It's a technique that anyone can learn and use. It's called the 5 whys. And yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. You state the problem and then you ask why about 5 times. It's a bit like a curious kid who just won't stop asking questions, and in science and engineering, that curiosity is a superpower. This method helps us peel back the layers of a problem, one why at a time. The 5 whys technique was developed in Japan as part of the Toyota production system, a world-famous model for manufacturing efficiency and quality. Its beauty is in its simplicity. It doesn't require complex statistical analysis or specialized software. It just requires a team of people with knowledge of the process to sit down together and drill down into an issue by repeatedly asking that simple question. Each answer forms the basis for the next question. You start with the symptom, the thing that went wrong, and with each why, you get closer to the fundamental process or system failure at the core of the issue. The goal here isn't just to find an answer, it's to find the process that failed. When you ask why, you want to avoid stopping at answers that blame people. For example, if the answer is because Bob made a mistake, that's not a root cause. The next question should be, why did Bob make a mistake? Perhaps the training wasn't clear, the instructions were confusing, or the work environment was too distracting. A person doesn't fail, a process or system fails. The 5 whys helps us identify that broken process so we can fix it for everyone, forever. You might be thinking, why 5? Why not 3 or 7? That's a great question. 5 is just a rule of thumb. Sometimes you might get to the root cause in 3 whys. Other times you might need 6 or 7. The idea is to keep asking until you arrive at a foundational cause, a point where asking why no longer makes sense or yields a useful answer. At that point, you've likely found the root cause, and you can start thinking about a robust solution that will prevent the problem from ever coming back. It's a simple, elegant, and incredibly effective tool for any problem solver. Ready to become a 5 whys master? Let's break down how to use this tool, step by step. It's a structured conversation, a journey of discovery that a team takes together. The first and most important step is to gather the right team. You need people who are familiar with the specific process where the problem occurred. This could include machine operators, maintenance staff, quality assurance specialists, and supervisors. Getting different perspectives is key to seeing the whole picture. Don't try to solve a manufacturing problem from an office. Go to the place where the work happens and talk to the people who do it every day. Once the team is assembled, the next step is to clearly and concisely define the problem. This is your starting point, your problem statement. It should be specific and based on facts. For example, the tablet press machine, TP101, had an unplanned shutdown at 2:30 p.m. is much better than the machine broke. A clear problem statement ensures everyone is focused on the same issue and has the same goal. Write it down on a whiteboard or a large piece of paper where everyone can see it. This keeps the investigation on track and prevents the discussion from wandering off into other unrelated issues. Now, the fun begins. The team leader or facilitator asks the first why, as in, why did the machine have an unplanned shutdown? The team then brainstorms answers based on their knowledge and the available data. Let's say the answer is, because the motor overloaded and triggered a safety circuit. Great! That's the answer to why number 1. Now you use that answer to ask the second why. Why did the motor overload? The team digs deeper. Maybe the answer is because a bearing in the motor seized. You're getting closer. Each answer becomes the new starting point for the next question. You continue this process, asking why again and again. Why did the bearing seize? Because it wasn't properly lubricated. Why wasn't it properly lubricated? Because it was missed during the last scheduled maintenance. Why was it missed? Because the new maintenance checklist doesn't specifically list that lubrication point? Aha! You've arrived. The root cause isn't a bad motor or a faulty bearing, it's an incomplete maintenance checklist. Now you can create a real lasting solution. Update the checklist. This structured process turns a chaotic problem into a clear path forward. Okay, let's put our 5 whys skills to the test with a realistic pharmaceutical example. Imagine you work for a company that makes a sterile, injectable medicine that is supposed to be a perfectly clear liquid. One day, the quality control team pulls a sample from a newly manufactured batch, and, well, they discover a problem. The liquid inside the glass vials is slightly cloudy or turbid. This is a major issue. The entire batch, worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, has to be put on hold. More importantly, you can't release a product that isn't perfect, because patient safety is paramount. The investigation begins immediately. The team assembles in a meeting room, and there's definitely a sense of urgency in the air. On the whiteboard, they write the problem statement, problem. Vials in batch B789 are showing unexpected turbidity. This is a clear, factual starting point. Everyone agrees on the problem they are here to solve. The team includes the operator who ran the filling machine, a maintenance engineer, a quality chemist who tested the sample, and a supervisor who oversees the entire production line. They have the right expertise in the room to start digging for the root cause. This collaborative approach is essential for a thorough investigation. So, the first question is asked by the team leader: why were the vials turbid? The quality chemist speaks up first, saying, "Our analysis shows the turbidity is caused by tiny particles of stainless steel in the solution. This is a crucial piece of evidence. The problem isn't with the drug formula itself, but with a physical contaminant." This immediately narrows the focus of the investigation. The team now knows they are hunting for the source of these metal particles. The initial symptom, cloudiness, has led them to a more specific, intermediate cause: metal particles. This first answer immediately changes the direction of the investigation. Instead of looking at the chemical mixing tanks or the raw drug ingredients, the team can now focus on the parts of the production line where the liquid comes into contact with stainless steel components. This could include the holding tank, the pumps, the piping, or the filling needles on the vial filling machine. The first why has already helped them eliminate many possibilities and focus their energy where it's most needed. The hunt for the source of the steel particles is on, and the 5 whys will be their map. The team is focused. They know they're looking for the source of stainless steel particles. The facilitator writes the answer to the first why on the board and asks the next question: why were there stainless steel particles in the solution? The maintenance engineer and the machine operator start to think about the path the liquid takes right before it enters the vials. The operator mentions the filling pump, pump P5, was making a strange noise during the run for batch B789. This is a critical clue from the person with the most hands-on experience. The team decides to inspect the pump immediately. Upon disassembling pump P5, the maintenance engineer discovers the problem. The impeller inside the pump is showing signs of scraping against the pump housing, she reports. This would explain the noise and the metal particles. The friction from the scraping action was shearing off microscopic bits of stainless steel that were then shed into the sterile drug product as it flowed through. The team has found the physical source of the contamination. The answer to the second why is because the pump's impeller was scraping against its housing. This is a huge step forward, but we're not at the root cause yet. The investigation must go deeper. The facilitator asks the third question: why was the impeller scraping the housing? This is a question for the maintenance engineer. After examining the pump's assembly and maintenance logs, she finds the answer. The pump was recently reassembled after routine cleaning, and the impeller was installed with the wrong clearance. It was set too tightly. This points away from a faulty part and towards a process issue. The pump itself is fine. The way it was put back together was not. We are getting very close to a foundational problem that can be fixed. Now for the crucial fourth question: why was the impeller installed with the wrong clearance? The team reviews the standard operating procedure for reassembling the pump. The procedure simply said, "Reassemble pump." It did not specify the exact clearance measurement or provide the mechanic with the right tool, a feeler gauge, to verify it. The mechanic who did the work was experienced but had to rely on memory and feel, which wasn't precise enough. The answer is because the reassembly procedure in the SOP was not specific enough and didn't require a measurement verification. Finally, the team asks the fifth why to be certain. Why was the SOP not specific enough? The supervisor explains that when the SOP was written years ago, the process was considered simple and was always done by a senior mechanic who knew the specification by heart. When that person retired, the knowledge was not properly transferred into the written procedure. The root cause is not a bad pump or a careless mechanic. It is an inadequate knowledge transfer process, resulting in an incomplete SOP. Now, the team can implement a real solution. Update the SOP with exact specifications, require a documented measurement, and retrain all maintenance staff. Problem solved for good. While the 5 Whys is a fantastic and versatile tool, it's not the only one in the pharmaceutical problem solver's toolbox. Think of it like a carpenter's kit. You wouldn't build a whole house with just a hammer. For more complex problems, especially those with many potential causes, teams often turn to other powerful methods. One of the most common is the fishbone diagram, also known as an Ishikawa diagram or a cause and effect diagram. It's a visual tool that helps teams brainstorm all the possible causes of a problem in an organized way. It's called a fishbone diagram because, well, it looks like the skeleton of a fish. The head of the fish is the problem statement, like cloudy vials. The bones branching off the spine represent different categories of potential causes. In manufacturing, these categories are often the 6 M's: manpower, method, machine, material, measurement, and milieu. The team brainstorms potential causes within each of these categories and adds them as smaller bones. For our cloudy vial example, incorrect pump clearance would go under machine, while inadequate SOP would fall under method. This helps ensure no stone is left unturned during the investigation. Another incredibly useful technique, especially when you need to understand a complex process, is process mapping or flowcharting. This involves creating a visual diagram of every single step in a process from beginning to end. You draw boxes for each action and arrows to show the flow. This simple exercise can be eye-opening. It often reveals unnecessary steps, confusing pathways, or gaps in the process that were not obvious before. For our pump problem, a detailed process map of the pump disassembly, cleaning, and reassembly procedure would have quickly highlighted that a critical measurement step was completely missing from the workflow. Finally, for problems that involve numbers and data, we use statistical tools. One such set of tools is called Statistical Process Control, or SPC. This involves using control charts to monitor a process over time. A control chart is a graph that shows data points, like tablet hardness or liquid pH, plotted in sequence. It has a center line for the average and upper and lower control limits. As long as the data points bounce around randomly within the limits, the process is in control. If points start to trend in one direction or fall outside the limits, it's an early warning that a problem is developing, allowing the team to investigate before it leads to a bad batch. Using structured problem-solving tools like the 5 Whys fishbone diagrams and process mapping has a powerful ripple effect throughout a pharmaceutical company. The most immediate and important benefit is the direct improvement in product quality. When you move beyond fixing symptoms and start eliminating root causes, you prevent problems from ever happening again. This means fewer batches of medicine are rejected, delayed, or recalled. Every batch that meets the stringent quality standards is a victory, ensuring that the medicine that reaches the pharmacy is exactly as it was designed to be: pure, potent, and consistent. This commitment to quality leads directly to the ultimate goal: enhanced patient safety. A cloudy vial, a tablet with the wrong dose, or a contaminated cream are not just quality issues. They are potential safety risks. By systematically hunting down and fixing the root causes of manufacturing deviations, we build a more robust and reliable production system. This proactive approach is a core principle of modern pharmaceutical regulation. Regulatory agencies like the FDA want to see that companies have strong systems in place for investigating problems and implementing what we call corrective and preventive actions, or CAPAs. These tools are the engine that drives an effective CAPA system. Beyond quality and safety, these tools foster a stronger culture of continuous improvement. When everyone in an organization, from the production floor to the executive suite, is trained to use these methods, it creates a shared language for talking about problems. It empowers employees at all levels to be detectives and innovators. Instead of fearing problems or trying to hide them, the team sees them as opportunities to make the process better. This collaborative spirit boosts morale, increases engagement, and makes the entire operation more efficient and resilient. It transforms the workplace into a hub of scientific thinking and proactive problem-solving. Ultimately, the benefits create a virtuous cycle. Better problem solving leads to higher quality products. Higher quality products lead to safer patients and greater trust from doctors and the public. This strong reputation, combined with greater operational efficiency and less waste, makes the company more successful. That success allows for further investment in new technologies, better facilities, and more training, which in turn improves problem-solving capabilities even more. It's a powerful feedback loop where a commitment to asking why leads to better medicine and a healthier world for everyone. It all starts with a simple question. So, there you have it. From the simple, powerful curiosity of the 5 whys to the structured brainstorming of a fishbone diagram, problem-solving tools are the secret ingredient in the recipe for safe and effective medicine. They are not just for scientists in white coats or engineers with clipboards, they are for everyone. The principles of root cause analysis, digging deeper, asking questions, and working as a team are fundamental to the mission of the pharmaceutical industry. These methods transform our response to challenges from a reactive scramble to a proactive, intelligent investigation that creates lasting positive change. We've seen how a seemingly complex issue, like cloudy vials, can be untangled one why at a time, leading not to a person to blame, but to a process to improve. This is a critical shift in thinking. It builds systems that are resilient to human error and processes that are clear, repeatable, and reliable. In an industry where precision can be the difference between healing and harm, this level of methodical rigor isn't just a good idea, it's an ethical obligation. We owe it to every patient who relies on our products to be the best problem solvers we can possibly be. The journey of making a medicine is long and complex, filled with incredible science and painstaking attention to detail. But it's not a journey that ends when the product leaves the factory. It continues with a commitment to vigilance, to learning from every stumble, and to constantly striving for perfection. By embracing these problem-solving tools, we are not just fixing machines or correcting documents, we are upholding a sacred trust with the public. We are ensuring that the name on the box is a promise of quality, safety, and care. So, I encourage you, whether you work in pharma or are just curious about how things work, to embrace your inner scientist. Ask why. Challenge assumptions. Look for the story behind the symptom. Because when we all become better problem solvers, we don't just improve a process on a factory floor. We contribute to a healthier, safer world for ourselves, our families, and for generations to come. And that, my friends, is what science is all about.